These solving questions in general mathematics exercise 1D. We're almost rounding off 60 questions. As you can see, what do we apply here? 1 over the number, removing the minus sign. Don't forget what we have been doing since. Then don't forget, now we're going to apply our analysis of our seventh law of indices. This is telling us the square root, 16 over 9, then the power of 3. Don't forget what's happening here. So now I have 1 over, what is the square root of 16? Is 4. The square root of 9 is actually what? 3. But we still have power of 3 there. So now 1 over 64, because the raised to power 3 of 4 is actually 64. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. The raised to power 3 of 3 is what? 27. If you follow the inversion we have been doing, I don't want to go through that process again. We've been doing it in all the questions we've been solving. It's going to be what? 27 over 64. So there's no big deal. That is what we have arrived at. Then the next aspect is question. So we are going to interpret the question first, question 54. Interpreting it, we are going to see 16a raised to the power 12. We are interpreting first. It means 1 over what? 4. Our sixth law of indices. We have interpreted this to be this. Remember, it will multiply through. So now 16 raised to power 1 over 4. And to multiply this, now a raised to power minus 12 over 4. Because when it multiplies, the 4 will now be at the denominator. That is how factorized. Minus 12 times 1 over 4, it will now be 12 over 4. So now, don't forget, we can bring back the square roots. This is square root 16 times 8. When this one goes in there, we have 3. So now I have a raised to power 3. So when we finish this, don't forget, we can look for the 14th of 16, which is 2. So it becomes 2 a raised to power minus 3. This is our answer. 2a raised to power minus 2. We've done the fourth root of this is 2. And this one has been simplified already before now. Then the next one is this. The next one is, don't forget, in this case, 3 and 4 are not similar things, so we multiply them, we have 12. But don't forget also, we have similar base here, a invisible 1, a has visible 1 here, so now a is 3 plus 1, then we'll talk about b. You know, remember all these things are in multiplication form, we can apply our first law here. Then b, invisible 1 is here, this one is minus 2. So now b, 1 plus minus 2. Sorry, 1 plus, not minus, because it's plus minus 2. And what we've been doing since, you notice, now 12 a raised to power 4. Since we have minus and plus in between, we multiply the signs. What is going to give us is going to be 3 raised to power 1 minus 2, which is equal to 12a raised to power 4. Then b, 1 minus 2 will give us minus 1. 1 minus that is plus 1 minus 2 give us what? Minus 1. It can either be this or equal to 12a over b. 12a over b or 12a raised to power 4. Sorry, 12a raised to power 4 b raised to power minus 1, or 12a raised to power 4 over b, courtesy of our fourth law, where we will now say 1 over b. That is exactly what is happening there. Either of them, either this answer or this answer is correct. So we now go to this one. When we do this, we are still going to do similar things. Here we now have. First of all, we have to simplify first, bring it out. When we do that, we're going to have 3 raised to the power minus 2, because we have to use this to multiply each of them. A raised to the power minus 2, then b raised to the power minus 2. the sign will affect everything individually on the bracket in their power because all of them have a visible 1. That is exactly what happened there. So let's go. As we go on, we're going to see that we're going to have 4 times, so it will now be 1 over 9 raised, sorry, 1 over 3 raised to power 2, which is simple as 1 over 9. 1 over 9, we've been doing it since. 1 over 9. 1 over 9, which will now be, they will bring a in now. We now have a3, a raised to power 3, plus minus 2, then b raised to power 1. I will look for, I think I will solve this question. I will just solve this question and skip the last question so as to have space to analyze what is happening there. Now, see what is happening here? I haven't got this. We will now see. We now have 4 times 1 over 3 raised to power 2 times a raised to power 3 plus, but this is a minus 2, then we now have b 1 plus minus 2. This is exactly what is happening there. We have analyzed it. Remember that 3 raised to power minus 2 is 1 over the number removing the minus sign, our fourth law. So when we go further, we are going to have 4 times 1 over 9. And when we do this, don't forget, minus times 4 will give us minus. So now 3 minus 2 will give us what? Just a. 3 minus 2 will give us a. 3 minus 2 will give us a, then plus times minus will also give us minus. So we now have b. 1 minus 2 will give us minus 1. So now b raised to power minus 1. So when we do this, we have 4 over 9. 4 over 9. Then a times b raised to power minus 1, which can be referred to as 4 over 9 a over b, because that b raised to power minus 1, remember our fourth law of indices, to now be 1 over b, which will now make it to be 9. So we now have 4a over 9b, because we will now apply our fourth law of indices, 1 over the number, that is 1 over b. 1 over b, so it will now be 4 over 9, 4a over 9 times 1 over b, which will now give us 4a times 4a over 9b. So you follow me up, we are almost there. We are going to the next aspect of the last part of indices of exercise 1D. Make sure you make comments.